Well, how you doing? You win, are you there?
All right, yes, I'm here now. I can hear you.
Did you get my you got the
I
draft?
got the emails. Yes, I got your.
I got a couple more to send.
Okay. Make sure everything's working here on my end.
Hey
Sorry,
man,
everyone, for the late start. Let's see. Let me get the chat window set up.
I didn't realize we had so many I had so many diagrams to go in there.
Yeah.
I got
And you
that.
have a lot of new ones since the collection book you made.
Yeah, I will. I was making them specifically for the book, but that's going to make the book go up to 450 pages.
Oh, that's fine.
Uh,
That's a 9, so that's fine. All right, welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and start. A couple minutes late, but we have quite a bit to cover. Let us open up with the citing of prayer for spiritual workers, and then we'll move into today's agenda material. Guess I can't change that now, can I? No, it won't let me change it. All right, let's go ahead and recite prayer for spiritual workers. Prayer for spiritual workers. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their limitations, would smite me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their weakness, would not heed me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their ignorance, would defile you through me. And I ask, Almighty God, O wondrous power, that your strength may be given to me now, so that I might be fortified by this, so that I might go forward bravely into the world, and despite reception, send forth my love of thee throughout all races of man. Almighty God, give me the power and strength to rise above my karmic weakness, the deficiencies in the pattern of my evolution, so that I might evolve and become stronger, I, and even stronger in thy everlasting light. O God, thy will be done. All right, welcome everyone to today's session. We'll be continuing our celebration of the release and study of the new book by Mr. Nehemiah Davis, The Miracle Kit Behind the Power of Prayer, the Mystic Knowledge of Manipulating the Subtle and Cosmic Energies of Prana through Prayer Techniques. The text is available on Amazon as well as the publisher, Ex Libris. I think that's how you pronounce it. In this series, we are reading through most of the chapters. I think we're leaving out a couple of chapters. Most specifically, one chapter where we will actually go into the mystic prayer technique. That'll be reserved for a workshop, an in-person workshop that we'll be hosting after we finish reading most of the chapters in the book. More information will be released about that later. Today we will pick up chapter 5. I know I said we're going to do a review of chapters 1 through 4, but I want to go into chapter 5. And then we'll do a review after that of the first 5 chapters, because chapter 5 talks about man's subtle makeup that is utilized in the mystic prayer method. So it brings together the information from chapters 1 through 4. And so as I was studying it, I thought this would be a good place to break and then do a review of chapters 1 through 5. And then when we move into chapters 6, 7, and 8, it'll be, at least in my opinion, more beneficial as opposed to stopping at the end of chapter 4, reviewing, and then going to chapter 5. So today we'll pick up chapter 5. Sorry. And then we'll have the review. Like I mentioned earlier, chapter 9 the Mystic Prayer Technique, that will be reserved for an upcoming workshop. We'll go into the prayer technique. We'll practice a couple of prayers, particularly the New Lord's Prayer, prayer for spiritual workers. We may even try, and we'll do a 12 blessings session. And then we'll also look at custom prayers. So if there's anything that, or if anyone in particular that you'd like to send healing or prayer to, it could be situations going on in the world at the time. It could be someone, a family member or a friend that you'd like to send absentee healing to. You can come with that to the seminar, and we'll also do maybe go into some absentee healing, how to use the prayer technique to send healing to an individual, to a group of individuals, to a country, to a region, or to affect humanity as a whole. So there'll be quite a lot involved in this workshop on prayer. But more information will come about that later. We will do a study of the New Lord's Prayer and the Prayer for Spiritual Workers after we've gone through all of the Miracle Kit Behind Prayer, Power of Prayer book. But that study, part of it will be public, part of it will be private. The private part will be held for the workshop. So do stay tuned for more information about that. I will make an announcement later via MeetUp. But if you do go to MeetUp now, you won't see any scheduled classes yet. I'm going to work out the schedule for September and October. And then once I have that hammered out, I'll post it on MeetUp to let everybody know when we'll be having sessions and what to expect for each session. And as usual, for the Society Florida group, we continue our weekly 12 blessings. We've resumed in-person services, so both commemoration and 12 blessings. We've resumed in-person sessions, so if you would like to attend that, there is a meetup group for the South Florida Society. You can follow that link, or you can go to meetup.com and search for the South Florida Society group, send a request to join that, and you can attend via Zoom or in person for both our 12 blessing services and commemorations. And you can also send requests to us for absentee healing, and we'll add you to our list. All right. So that's it for announcements. Throughout today's session, if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to post them in the chat, and I will address them for you. But even though we field any and all questions, or welcome any and all questions, do try and keep the majority of your questions on the material that's being covered in each session as a practice of concentration and focus. Again, you're open and free to ask any questions you may have, but do try to keep the majority of your questions on the subject material that is currently being covered or has been covered throughout this series on prayer, and specifically the Miracle Kit Behind Our Prayer book. Now, for those of you who have sent requests to be granted access to classes, I'm slowly working through that. I think I've been giving you access to one course already. The other course you were requesting access for, I wasn't able to find that. So if you can, as well as sending me the title of the video, if you can just send me the direct link to the video that you want access to, then I'll be able to do that. It may not be in a playlist. It may just be one that I had not organized into a playlist, or I couldn't figure out where to fit it into a playlist. And so as I was searching for some classes, specifically the ones you were asking for, I was able to find one in your first request, but the second request, I wasn't able to find the other video. So if you can send me the link, or at least the video from my end was public. I don't know if it's listing as private for you. So if you can, Vipin, anyone else who would like to request access to a private video, please send me the link of that video as well, and send it from the email account that you want to be granted access to. And I will go ahead and, if I have permission to do so, I will grant you access. All right, and welcome everyone. So if there's no questions or additional comments, let's go ahead and jump into chapter 5. And if you're just joining us, I will do a review of 1 through 5 after we've completed chapter 5. I wanted to go into chapter 5 because it does introduce the subtle makeup of man that's utilized in the prayer mystic prayer method, and then brings together a lot of the materials in chapters 1 through 4. And then once we move into chapters 6, 7, and 8, you'll having that review of the first 5 chapters behind us will be of benefit. Okay. Understanding man's subtle makeup that is utilized in the mystic prayer method. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. In the previous chapters, when I said I'll come back and insert the illustrations that were not quite clear in this electronic version, I believe in the book they're clear. In the physical book they're clear, but in this electronic version, this is a proof version given to us from the publisher. So the illustrations and diagrams are not very clear, but in the review, when we go back and review chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and subsequent reviews of chapters, I will have those high quality versions of those illustrations and diagrams for us to look at and study. Okay. The mystic metaphysical philosophy teaches that man has many facets to his makeup. Man's true nature is spirit, a divine spark of God. And everything else is but a divine sheath of clothing to weather any storms on the pathway through life. Each divine sheath of clothing is a state of being manifesting a specific level of consciousness that inhibits the inner light of the spirit. Each divine sheath of clothing or group of divine sheaths make up the levels of consciousness, lower and higher aspects of man. The spirit of man, the divine spark of God, the I am of man. This subject is probably the most difficult one to approach and comprehend for most students because of the limited scope of our awareness and physical limitations to life. We live in a mortal physical state of mind, which does not allow us to completely comprehend the complexity of our true nature. The spirit of man, a divine spark of God that dwells within and all around us, allows us to make our being through involution to evolution, while never moving from its divine position of endless power and the endless potential of that power. Why is this thing called spirit? This has been expressed and defined in many different ways by all walks of life. The yogic mystic believes that God is the absolute, the all in all, the life and source behind all things. It is all things and even more than that. Words cannot truly express or define the nature of this supreme power. Our feeble minds struggle to comprehend the greatness of the relationship to our divine source. To understand the spirit, we must understand that we can only understand some faint concept of God, the supreme absolute. Spirit is a divine spark of God that has involved itself as a point of consciousness within man. The point of consciousness is the spirit of man's existence. Being in a state of unmanifested existence, it moves to manifest a part of itself as a point of consciousness on the highest level of manifestation within creation, which is the soul. In the forward movement of this involution, the unmanifested part of the spirit splits a part of its divine consciousness and creates a body for itself with one part unmanifested and the other manifested. The body of the spirit is recognized as the soul as stated above. This soul is unmanifested and manifested, just as the spirit, except for the spirit, which is never manifested because it is the thing behind all manifestation. The God principle within man is the I am, that part of man's existence that made man in his own image, which is the soul, which is the I of man. The spirit is a part of the absolute, which is unmanifested because it is too vast and too pure to be touched or to contain because it is all. Therefore, it creates a point of consciousness of itself as the spirit that is unmanifested, but is expressed through the soul that is unmanifested and manifested. The unmanifested part of the spirit and soul is untouchable, unseen, and unheard, but it is the background and source of power for everything that is manifested. The manifested portion of the soul is far less than a fraction of the unmanifested existence. The spirit is that sacred flame within us and outside, and yet exists in neither place because it exists everywhere. It is the cause of our involution and the long journey of countless lives through evolution. The spirit was the first aspect of man's creation, which is the highest possible aspect of creation, and will be the last to appear in the so-called full consciousness. It must be understood that spirit unmanifested or manifested has no need for consciousness because it is above this. In fact, it is the cause of consciousness. Consciousness is a part of the process of involution and the tool for man in evolution. It is said that God spoke the word, and the word was God, and creation was formed. The word was a sonic vibration released from the absolute God, which made its impression on the universal mind substance and the all-pervasive cosmic energy, Prana. The word was God, because God is all, and all is God. For all things come from and is contained and maintained by God. It is said that the first spoken word could only be an expression that gives the name to the one life, the absolute God. And this word contained the expression of the will of God. This word that was expressed had the power to affect the universal mind substance of static force of endless potential that has an unlimited source of all power in a state of complete static. Shiva, a positive power. When the Absolute released the word, a sonic vibration, it had a rippling effect upon this universal mind substance and the all-pervasive cosmic energy. This rippling effect caused a chain reaction called creation, Shakti, a negative power. The sonic vibration was the great word that contains all sounds and words, Nada and Saddha, a neutral power. The greatest mantra known to man today. Within the word mantra is the root man, which means to think. The great mantra released by the Absolute contains the thought configuration for all creation. Mantra is the force or power that activates the universal mind and cosmic energy into a state of manifestation called creation. Creation is a result of a sonic vibration being placed on the universal mind substance and the all-pervasive cosmic energy in a framework of divine law and time units to produce a manifestation of involution and evolution in a spiral effect of cosmic matter from the micro level to the macro level and vice versa. This sonic vibration is the force that helps to configure all creation. The configuration produced from the sonic vibration is used to bring the subtler cosmic energies and mind substance into manifestation. These sonic vibrations are placed on the all-pervasive sea of mind substance that is full of endless potential in a state of static. This causes a configuration of this mind substance, of this endless potential, to activate itself. The configuration produced from this sonic vibration, being placed on the mind substance, brings into manifestation a concentration of cosmic energies that responds directly to the configuration of this sonic vibration. This produces all the components of creation, from the micro to the macro. The sonic vibration that produces the configurations of creation is the mantra. As stated above, the great holy word, creative sonic vibration, released from the Absolute at the start of creation, is that force that impresses the all-pervasive mind substance and universal cosmic energies, thereby bringing this static endless potential of manifestation into creation as active manifestation. The configurations produced from the amalgamation of these mighty forces, which was caused by the great word being released from the Absolute, are the inner signatures of all the micro and macro manifestations of creation. The sonic vibration that permeates the universe is the creative signature of all manifestations. This vibration is subdivided into thousands of units, reconfiguring manifestation throughout a time continuum. And behind all this is the spirit and the great tool of expression, the soul, used by the spirit, which is bodiless consciousness. The ancient teachings tell us that pure consciousness is Shiva, a positive static power of all potential, and within it, him is the power of Shakti in her formless and inactive state. Pure consciousness is stillness and changelessness. Pure consciousness is unmanifested and infinite. Pure consciousness cannot be contained and cannot be manifested. Pure consciousness is bodiless because it cannot be contained as pure consciousness. It is still part of the whole, the absolute God. The soul is a bodiless consciousness that expresses the duality of the spirit in its absolute state of all potential. This duality of power can be described as a positive and negative source of power. One source of the duality of power is a background source in perfect stillness, perfect silence, untouched, detached from all things, and attached to all things, all sound and all movement. In the ancient books, it is the power called Shiva, a positive force. The other source of this duality of power is the source of perfect movement, perfect sound, that source that connects itself to all things, that source that is the result of all actions. It is the power of all actions. This power was considered to be the female force, a negative power called Shakti in the ancient teachings. The thing that brings about a state of manifested consciousness is when the pure consciousness activates the Shakti aspect of itself and brings about the dissolution of consciousness. The Shiva aspect of the consciousness remains static and undisturbed. The Shakti aspect of the consciousness, when being activated, moves forward and becomes extremely active, producing an aspect of its power that manifests itself as mind and matter. And then this same power manipulates this mind and matter into countless forms and shapes through countless situations. This process of the dissolution of consciousness produced several states of consciousness that can be described as manifested consciousness, unconsciousness, mind, and matter, all intermingled to produce manifested states of consciousness. It must be understood that manifested consciousness can only be possible through the limitation of consciousness. And this limitation includes the fact that manifested consciousness is always accompanied by a state of unconsciousness, mind and matter. And within it all are enshrined the spirit and the soul. This Shiva and Shakti that are used by the soul is the commentating force that is activated by the Absolute through the use of the great word spoken at the beginning of creation. The soul uses these great cosmic energies to carry out the directives of the spirit by involving itself through the process of involution. As the Absolute spoke the word and creation came into being, so did the spirit speak the word, and the soul manifested itself from the spirit, as did the spirit emerge from the Absolute, for it is one and the same. The word spoken by the Absolute encompasses the potential power of all creation, just as the Shiva and Shakti power possesses the two great powers of positive and negative. The divine spoken word is the neutral force and power that contains both powers and neither power because they cancel each other out, creating the ability to activate both sources. This divine spoken word is known as the sonic vibration, or in ancient terminology, called nada, which is still an aspect of Shiva and Shakti. All right, let me pause here to see if there are any questions. Okay. If there's no questions, then I'll continue on. The soul, the manifested consciousness of the spirit. The soul is the consciousness of the spirit. The manifestation of the soul represents a mere fraction of the power of the spirit that assists the spirit in managing the involution and evolution of man's existence. The soul is known as the I of man. It is the first and true temple or body of the power of God, the Spirit. The soul is unmanifested and manifested, and has no need for the mind because its consciousness is supra-consciousness. It is above consciousness. It is aware of the tremendous power of the Spirit and its connection to the all in all. The soul cannot truly understand the real existence of the Spirit because the Spirit is a part of the all in all. Man's real self is spirit, and this spirit is that divine spark of God within him and outside of him that is manifested and unmanifested. It is part of the Absolute and is the absolute. The spirit represents the point of all knowledge space, the absolute bodiless consciousness that stands behind the soul and is the source that manifested the soul. This manifested part of the spirit, the soul, represents the consciousness of the spirit. It is the first realm of the divine consciousness with which man individualizes. The reality of it all is that spirit is part of the collected, unmanifested consciousness of the absolute. It is said that this spirit fashioned the soul as a body for itself from itself. This soul is the shield, the body, and the transponder for the spirit. As the shield for the spirit, it takes on two qualities: an unmanifested state of consciousness and a manifested state of consciousness. The soul seems to have four main directives from the spirit. 1. Bring about the involutional process of itself through engrossing the cosmic energy through manifestation. 2. Manage this process of involution. 3. Initiate the journey of the evolutionary process from engrossed manifestation back to the unmanifested state. 4. Manage this process of evolution back to the Godhead. The 9 listed topics below represent different tools or instruments of the soul used as the building blocks of man's manifested existence. The plan here is to give a Western mystical thesis on the metaphysical constitution of man using Eastern philosophy and terminology. I will try to connect the dots on these various subjects and show how each tool of expression by the soul leads into the next and intermingles to build systems of the subtler bodies that allow the physical body to exist. The following is a list of instruments that the soul uses to express itself, which can be called the mystic constitution of man. Number 1, chakra system. Number 2, the nadi system. Number 3, the supra-conscious mind. Number 4, the subconscious mind. Number 5, the conscious mind. Number 6, kundalini, the cosmic life force within man's bodies. Number 7, prana, the all-pervasive cosmic energy. Number 8, the subtler bodies. And number 9, the physical body. I'll briefly go into each one of these points of self-expression of the soul to bring some clarification of the above terminology. I hope that these brief explanations can suffice until I can go into greater detail in the later lessons on this subject. The chakra system. The chakra system as we know it is a result of the nadi system defining itself with its nadi knots, which give the location of the chakras. It is where the nadis intersect 7, 14, and 21 times that allow us to locate these nadi knots called chakras. It is stated that every time one of the nadi lines of force intersects 7 times, a minute chakra can be found there. Every time nadi lines of force intersect 14 times, a minor chakra can be found in this location. And every time nadi lines of force intersect 21 times, we will find a major chakra manifesting itself. Are chakras formed and defined by the nadis? Of course, it is defined because the chakras came first. The nadis came second. The chakras are points of consciousness, and the points of universal consciousness that the soul can work from, and the realms of existence where the soul can manifest its many aspects of consciousness to gain valuable experience. The point of consciousness is connected to the all-knowledge space, the Bindu. Therefore, it had to be there first. The Nadi system only defines the location of it and assist in redistributing its cosmic energy. These chakra points within the Nadi system are vortex centers for the various levels of pranic and mind substance. They are entry points to the soul and the spirit's all-knowledge space. Within each chakra is a series of seed mantras, and one chakra mantra that is associated with each chakra is used to activate the super conscious points that link man with the spirit. These seed mantras and chakra mantras are sonic vibrations that man must use to calibrate the subtler cosmic energies that enter and exit the chakras. The most popular chakras are the 6 major known chakras along the spinal column and the major crown chakra above the spinal column. Table 5-1, 7 major chakras, the bijas, petals, tattvas, and elements. So number 1, we start with the base of the spine, or the Muladhara chakra. Its bija is Lam, containing 4 petals. Its tattva is Bhuta. Its sensitive matter quality is earth, and it contains 56 tattvic rays. Next, we have the sex center, or the Svadhisthana chakra. Its bija is Vam, containing 6 petals. Its tattva is Agni, or fire, and number of tattvic rays is 62. Next, we have the solar plexus chakra, or the Manipura chakra. Its bija is Ram, containing 10 petals. Its tattva is Apas, or water, and it has 52 tattvic rays. Next, we have the heart chakra, the Anahata chakra. Its bija is Yam, containing 12 petals. Its tattva is Vayu, or air, and it contains 54 tattvic rays. The throat center of Vishuddha chakra is next. Its bija is Ham. Contains 16 petals. Its tattva is Akasa, or ether, and it has 72 tattvic rays. Next, we have the Christ center, the Ajna chakra. Its bija is Om, containing 2 petals. Its tattva is Manas, or mind, and it contains 64 tattvic rays. And finally, we come to the crown center, or the Sahasrara chakra. And in total, that's 50 petals and 360 tattvic rays. The first 6 major chakras along the spinal column are the chakras that represent the Shakti power within the Nadic system, and the crown chakra represents the Shiva power within the Nadi system. The major chakras that we will concern ourselves with are the above chakras mentioned along the spine. Listed below, or I think above. Oh no, listed below, correct. Listed below are several components of the chakras that we will examine in order to grasp the understanding behind the ancient teachings of yoga as it regards to each chakra. Throughout the ancient teachings of yoga, when describing the chakras, the following components are always mentioned. The bindu, a point of consciousness within every chakra. The bindu can be described as a point where the manifested and unmanifested point of the soul's consciousness resides, making it the point of all knowledge space, or a point where the higher self or higher conscious of man operates from. In addition, from this operating point, all the other components of the chakras are brought into action to absorb the sacred power and cosmic moment of the spirit and soul, creating the point of manifestation. The bindu is the center of every component within the chakra, and the signature power behind all the actions of every component of the chakra and every component that extends from the chakras. Nada, an all-pervasive sonic wave. The inner sound that becomes audible when the network of nadic currents has been duly purified. Nada is that sound vibration released from the Absolute in order to bring about creation. It is said that the Absolute spoke the word, and this word caused the activation of the two mighty forces that were in a complete state of static. These two forces have been described as akasa and prana, which were manifested but not activated. The sound vibration nada struck this static force of akasa and prana, causing a rippling effect of the perpetuator movement that is called creation. This pure nada force resides in the bindu or near this bindu, where the soul uses this nada force to recreate or perpetuate motion that was started from this word being issued at the beginning of creation. The bijas, seed mantra. The bijas are sonic vibrations that assist in calibrating the mind frequencies and subtler energies. They make up the building blocks of consciousness. It is through the bijas that the nadis actually pass through the chakras. In other words, the nadis pass through the chakras via the bija chakras. The tattvic rays of the chakra. These tattvic rays are from the tattvic matter that extends from the sun and are the reflective tattvic rays from the earth and the reflective tattvic rays from the moon. These tattvic rays permeate throughout the whole solar system within all subtle and gross matter. They are the resource of sonic vibrations released from the mighty sun and are described as the sonic modes of motion that act as a carrying agent for the pranic forces being radiated from the sun. While acting as the carrying agent, these tattvic rays group themselves into 6 groups, and each group represents the sensitive matter that assists in the building of the subtle and gross vehicles of expression for mankind. These 6 groups align themselves along the major chakras located in the spinal column. The tattvic rays help to synchronize, compress, and condition these cosmic energies into a denser gross material to allow the soul to build its vehicle of expressions such as the etheric, mental, subtle, astral bodies, and the physical body. Positive cosmic energy. This aspect of prana is recognized as the Pingala flow of energies from the chakras through the nadis. This flow of cosmic energies is the vital life force of prana and serves to polarize all the systems within the human body. This polarization causes a definite vibrational pattern and promotes the specific, qualities that are associated with this flow of energies. Negative cosmic energy. This aspect of prana is recognized as the Ida flow of energies through the nadis. The Ida flow of cosmic energy has a mental quality of energy flow that also polarizes all the subtle bodies and the gross human structure. Diva and host of divas of the chakras. The Divic kingdom is hard for most people to visualize, but if they realize that the divas that are referred to in most cases are actually the active forces of the elements and cosmic energies. In other words, the divas are an aspect of the vibrational force of all energies. Within the vibrational nada wave of Shakti, there is a conscious race of beings whose sole purpose is to manipulate these forces from one specific pattern to the next. In fact, some ancient texts state that the forces are the divas themselves. Just as the human body thrives on the need to breathe and drink water, the divas thrive on the need to take in the pranic energies created from the thoughts and actions of all forms of life and manipulating these energies to create the environment or reactional results deserved from the thoughts and actions. Magnetic force for mind substance. The magnetic force within the chakras is the result of bindu, which is the concentrated compactness of nada and shakti power. A chakra is made up of a series of subtle sound vibrations extending from the bindu that manifest the bija, which manifest the letters on the petals. These subtle sound vibrations have a natural magnetic power over mind substance, or mind shakti, and cosmic energies. Each chakra manifested flow of cosmic energies is governed by the signature of tattvic forces that places tremendous pressure on these vortex centers, chakra, of cosmic energies, and mind substance being manipulated and managed by the soul. These tattvic forces are the primary karmic pressures invoked by the creative word released from the start of creation. The tattvic forces placed on the chakras are different creative sonic vibrations that produce a variety of magnetic attractions and qualities that the chakras use to calibrate the universal cosmic energies and mind substance. These sonic vibrations are called bijas, seed mantras, surrounding the bindu of each chakra, which is the point of consciousness of the chakra and is the point where the soul expresses its consciousness. The soul expresses its consciousness by using the Shakti power, the Kundalini, that's activating these creative sonic vibrations in order to allow the lower conscious mind to amalgamate with the higher consciousness, or where the soul is bathed in the supreme light of the spirit. There are other karmic pressures that have a manipulating effect on the chakras, and that is the thought impressions left on the auric field and the chakra entry and exit points. As a man moves through evolution, his thoughts and actions leave thought impressions or karmic signatures, samskaras, on the auric body that mold and restrict the functions of those chakra centers until man transmits these actions into something good and productive. The chakra system is the point where the bodiless consciousness of the soul is split up to form the mind of man. It is also the point where the different levels of consciousness, which are different realms of existence, are formed to allow man to express himself individually through the Maya Shakti, the power that makes whole into not whole. Man's true points of consciousness are the chakra consciousness that lies within the chakra centers, not in the physical brain. The physical brain is a receiving set for the conscious mind. All right. And pause here to see if there are any questions. Let's see, I think I'll finish up the nadis and then stop at consciousness, which is the next section. Or I'll see. No, I think I can do consciousness and the conscious mind. Okay. There's no questions, then let's continue on. The nadi system. The nadi system is usually seen as man's subtle nervous system, or the etheric nervous system. That is the subtle nervous electronic system behind the physical nervous system, which processes intelligent stimuli throughout the nervous system, which includes the brain, the spinal system, and nerve ganglia. In this presentation, I hope to present a fuller meaning of this nadi system and to show the mystic science behind the nadi system. In the first chapter, we talked about the spirit and the soul manipulating this power called Shiva and Shakti with the power of nada. This power of nada is a neutral force that manifests itself as a sonic vibration that has the ability to manipulate the positive power, Shiva, and the negative power, Shakti. This brings about the unique ability to create or modify this force called cosmic energy or prana. The soul spoke the word, and from the word came a long, thin, sonic line of force that wrapped itself around the manifested points of the soul's consciousness. These thin sonic vibrational lines of force created thousands of geometrical angles, forming what are called the nadis. Within the nadis are various frequencies of cosmic energies, or pranas. The rotational movement of the nadis seems to have created various frequencies of energy patterns. These energy patterns assist the soul in defining its points of consciousness, called nadinats, or chakras. These nadinats are the focal points that transform and transmute cosmic energies into thousands of various forms and frequencies. The nadinats bring about a tremendous pressure on the universal supply of prana and the universal mind substance that surround us. These nadinats draw the pranas within the nadi system. And then these nadis serve to slow down the pranas and mind substance to bring about a grosser manifestation of these energies. The cosmic energies, being magnetically pulled into these nadinats, have been affected or conditioned by the three major celestial forces. These modifications of the cosmic energies come from the sun, moon, and earth. Excuse me. The ancient tantric teachings, as translated by Sir Arthur Avalon in the book Serpent Power, and by Rama Prasad in his book Nature Finer Forces, describe the modifications as tattvas, energy modes of motion. They describe these tattvas as tattvic rays, radionic modes of motion that have been modified by the sun, moon, and earth. The modification of these cosmic energies created certain signature patterns that brought about tremendous pressures on the cosmic energies and mind substance within the nadi matrix created by the nadi system. These pressures created by the nadi knots and nadi system slow down the cosmic energies to allow the manifestation of the soul's various tools of expression in order to manage its involutional and evolutional journeys. The following is a brief explanation of the nadi system as described from the mystic point of view. The nadi system is a series of thin sonic tube-like vibrations that surrounds the manifested points of man's soul. These thin tubes act like sonic vibrations that make thousands of geometric patterns around these manifested points of the soul, which creates a magnetic web that draws on the all-pervasive cosmic energies and the universal mind substance, which brings these two mighty forces into gross manifestation. The soul skillfully designed this nadi system to build the house of this God presence that manifests within it, behind it, through it, and around it. Using the directives of the Spirit, the soul builds the first temple of God and brings into manifestation the consciousness of the soul. These nadis, or thin lines of force, are created by the soul with the sonic vibrations from the almighty creative word of the Absolute, which permeates throughout the universe and is the creative force behind everything. Because the nadi system is a divine sonic vibration, its various frequencies of sound are designed with the sonic signatures to bring into being the necessary tools of expression into manifestation for the soul. These sonic signatures, which can be described as the karmic pressures that dictate the will of the Absolute, God, are known as the 36 tattvas or modification principles, which are sonic frequencies of the creative word that holds man in manifestation. The tattvas are the invisible forces that the soul uses to direct, shape, and form the nadi system to aid the soul in the journey through involution to evolution. These tattvic rays are described as 360 tattvic rays that are radiated from the sonic vibrations issued by the solar logos, the mighty sun, 365 days a year. These 360 rays illuminate Earth in the form of fire, sun, and moon. The 360 rays are subdivided within the subtler bodies of man as follows. There are 118 tattvic fire rays, Agni, within the two lower major chakras, or nadi knots. 106 tattvic rays, sun rays, Surya, within the third and fourth major chakras, or nadi knots, and 136 tattvic moon rays, Chandra, within the fifth and sixth major chakras, or nadi knots. The tantric forces exert pressures on the nadis to define the nadi knots or chakras and to direct, shape, and form the nadi system, which also creates what is called a group of tantric rays. And there are a group of tantric rays within each nadi knot. These tantric rays are a subtle cosmic sensitive material with tremendous potential to shape, mold, and produce various qualities of cosmic energies, etheric matter, and gross matter. Each chakra located on the spinal column has a definite number of tantric rays within its lotus that radiate various qualities and produce tremendous power. The six chakras share 360 tantric rays, divided in an unequal number along the spinal vertebrae. The base of the spine has 56 tantric rays. This group is the Bhuta. This group is named Bhuta, which means that which can become. Excuse me. The Bhuta are cosmic particles that have the potential of all the other 5 tantric ray groups within the chakras. The sex center has 62 tantric rays, which are named Apas, and represents the power of water. The solar plexus center has 52 tantric rays. This group is named Agni, which represents the power of fire. The heart center has 54 tantric rays. This group is named Vyana, which represents the power of air. The throat center has 72 tantric rays. This group is named Akasha, which represents the power of ether. The Christ center has 64 tantric rays. This group is named Manas, which represents the power of mind. If you were able to follow the line of this Shakti power thus far, you can see the tremendous subtle resources of cosmic energies, mind substance, and tantric matter available for the soul to contain and manage throughout the many levels of conscious states created by the involution of the manifested pure consciousness of the soul. The nadis, being that direct result from the Shakti released from the unmanifested portion of the soul, Shiva with Shakti unmanifested, has this tremendous creative cosmic power flowing through it. As the soul moves to involve itself and slow down this cosmic creative power, it defines these nadi knots to redirect this cosmic energy and activate the tattvic matter that has been stored in the nadi knots as the cosmic karmic signatures and specifications for holding manifestation in place. These nadi knots, which are vortex centers of tremendous cosmic energies, mind substance, and tattvic rays, vibrational modification rays from the solar logos, with cosmic specifications, are used by the soul to manipulate subtle and gross manifestation. As stated in the last paragraph, each chakra has a specific number of tattvic rays, which are used to act as a balancing mechanism for the solar logos connection to human existence. Before going on, let me introduce one more point that may help to connect the dots to understanding this ancient metaphysical science. The power of Shakti is activated by the Absolute, God, releasing a cosmic vibration, cosmic sound, which brings about perpetual motion. This continued motion serves to subdivide the Shakti power through an involutional process over and over again until it reaches a point of equilibrium, the point of embodied consciousness. This equilibrium comes about when the Shakti power coils itself back around the Shiva at the base of the spine. This point of evolution begins when it starts to uncoil itself and move back toward the Absolute as Shiva and Shakti in a state of complete equilibrium. This is an evolutional process which also is activated by this cosmic vibration and is kept in manifestation by perpetual motion. The motion created in the evolutional process is also brought about by a sonic vibration being released by the celestial beings within the solar system and galaxies, etc. These 6 chakras are divided into 3 groups, which are called Granthi knots. The 3 Granthis are knots created with the chakras within the nadi system that is designed to further help block and slow down the subtler cosmic energies that flow freely through the nadi system. The first Granthi knot is the Rudra Granthi, and it is made up of the base of the spine and the sex center along the Sushumna Nadi. Like all Granthi knots, it is designed to help block and slow down the free flow of the cosmic energies within man's various subtle and physical bodies. The second Granthi knot is the Vishnu Granthi, which is made up of the solar plexus center and the heart center along the Sushumna Nadi. The third Granthi knot is the Brahma Granthi, which is made up of the throat center and the Christ center along the Sushumna Nadi. It is said that when the yogi is capable of untangling these knots, he moves from the realms of mortals to immortals. All right, let me pause here. Let's see if there's any questions or comments. All right, no questions? Continue. Table 5-2, English names of the chakras and their tattvic ray groups. First, we have the base of the spine and the Muladhara chakra. Etheric elements is Prathivi, Tattva is Bhuta, 56 tattvic rays, and its group is fire or Agni Kanda, and belongs to the conversion point of the Rudra Granthi. Number 2 is the sex center or the Spadhisthana chakra. Its element is Apas, its tattva is Agni, has 62 tattvic rays, and also belongs to the Agni Kanda or fire, and is also part of the Rudra Granthi. And then number 3 and 4, belonging to the Vishnu Granthi, we have the solar plexus, the Manipura chakra, with its etheric element being Agni. Its tattva is Apas, 52 tattvic rays, belonging to the Sun Suya group. And number 4, the heart chakra, the Anahata chakra. Its element is Vyana, as well as its tattva. 54 tattvic rays. And belongs to the Suya, also the Sun Suya Vishnu Granthi nuts. Next, we have the throat center, Vishuddha. Its element is Akasa, as well as Tattva, 72 tattvic rays, and it belongs to the Moon Chandra group of the Brahma Granthi, as well as the Christ center or the Ajna chakra. Its element is Manas. Its name of tattva is Manas. Its tattvic rays is 64, as well as the Chanda Brahma Granthi. In the end, we have the crown center, the Sahasrara center. And so the question here, I have asked you about the private videos of Raja Yogas. Can I get it? I want to learn more. Yes, I answered that. I believe I believe I was talking to you in the beginning of the class. I do have your emails, and I've been slowly granting access to those videos. But some of the videos you requested, I was not able to locate. So I was going to respond to the email, but I decided to address it since I see you here in class. If you can send me an email with the link directly to the classes, then it'll be easier for me to locate and grant you access to, because I think in one of your emails, you asked for class 5 and 7 of the Tantra Yoga series, but that class, I think class 7 was public. I think class 5 was the only one. So unless you had meant a different class, I wasn't able to find the two classes you're looking for that were private. So if you can send me the links to the class that you want access to, if it's private, or if it's an entire playlist, send me the link to that one as well, and then I'll just go ahead and grant you blanket access to the entire playlist, which should give you all the videos as well. Some of the videos, which shouldn't even come up at all, I think they're about 11, 12, 13 years old. The reason those will not come up at all is because those were, at the time, I was using a simple little consumer handheld camera that could only record up to 15 minutes at a time. And so in order to get an entire class, which is going to be an hour or two long, it was chopped up into many 15-minute videos. Later on, I combined all those videos into one class, but those same 15-minute snippets are still on YouTube, but should not be on YouTube. They're still on YouTube for archival purposes, but should not be accessible to anyone. But there may be some confusion when I was organizing the playlist, that not all of the classes, like for example, all of the lectures that Nehemiah gave on Raja Yoga were not in one single playlist. They may be bounced around in multiple playlists. So if you can, send me the link specifically to the videos you want access to, I'll grant you access to those videos. But later on, as part of my long pending list of things I want to do, I wanted to go back into YouTube and really sort all those videos properly and organize them into proper playlists so that it'd be easier for everyone to follow those lectures and gain the information. So although he made done a series on Raja Yoga, there are other series that Nehemiah taught where he touches on Raja Yoga. And so I would like to include that information in a Raja Yoga series that's exhaustive of all of the material that Nehemiah has given over the years. That's another project coming in the future. So to answer your question, yes, if you can, email me the links to those private videos specifically that you want access to, then I will go ahead and grant that to you with permission, of course. Okay. Continuing on. Within the nadi system, there are three major types of nadis: the Ida, the Pingala, and the Sushumna nadi. There are 14 named nadis, and the above-mentioned nadis are the chief major nadis that set and define the types of nadis. The Ida nadis are the negative vibrational force within the nadis, and the Pingala nadis are the positive vibrational force within the nadis. and Sushumna nadis are the neutral vibrational force within the nadi system, where both the Ida and Pingala force travel together. And when I get to the end of the section, which is okay after this paragraph, I see your question. I'll pose your question after I finish this paragraph. These three types of nadis create a web system surrounding the points of consciousness called bindus and are described as nadi knots or chakras. These points of consciousness have a magnetic effect on the environment, thereby allowing the soul to operate on several levels of consciousness or states of existence at one and the same time as it makes its journey through involution to evolution. I will go into greater detail later in this book on the nature and function of the nadis. The following describes the chief major nadis within the 14 named nadis. Okay, so a question here. How can I get Leia yoga resources after finishing all the above 10 yogas? How much time is needed for me to do these things? I consider you, Nehemiah, as my guru.
It would take a long time to get to the layer part. I will give information on it. I can send you resources on it, but I would not give specific techniques until I know that you are ready to receive those techniques. So a lot of people say a lot of stuff like, let's raise Kundalini over the weekend. That's all of that is make believe. So understand that there's a lot of preparation that's needed in order to properly move into that the Kundalini part and and the layer part, because you have Nani, which is the wisdom of all the yogas, and then you have Kama yoga, which is the laws of action behind all the yogas. Then you have Bhatha yoga, which is the yoga of really of is devotion, but it's purification. It's a purification yoga. And then you have Raja yoga, which is another purification yoga, but is the yoga of mental purification. And Bhatti is the yoga of devotion to God, which purify you spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And then you move into the robust type, which is Raja yoga, Hatha yoga, mantra yoga, mudra yoga, kriya yoga, and all the way to tantra yoga, which looms all the yogas together. And then you move into Kundalini yoga, which is the awakening of the consciousness. And then layer yoga, which once you awaken the consciousness, you must dissolve the consciousness in order to go into deep states of meditation, samadhi, or cosmic consciousness. So it takes a while to do that. It takes sometimes years, sometimes lifetimes. But once you receive the information stays with you. Even in your next life, you'll be born with a certain sense of that information, so you can pick up and move forward. I hope that answers your question.
Mhm. So this will be the final section for today. The 3 nadis are the chief major nadis, and 11 are the major nadis. And the next time we'll pick up with consciousness. Or we'll continue chapter 5 and pick up with consciousness. Number 1, Sushumna Nadi. Located in the central area of the spinal cord, a tiny hollow canal within the spinal cord that extends from the base of the spine up to the crown chakra. In this Sushumna Nadi, the Ida and Pingala Nadi forces travel together as one energy in one direction. Number 2, Ida Nadis. These chief types of nadis are located on the left sympathetic chain, which stretches from under the left nostril to below the left kidney in the form of a bent bow. These nadis are the lines of force that travel on the left side of an auric magnetic field that makes up the mental and energetic matrices of consciousness. This is the negative force of nadis, which represents the feminine force within the nadis. By manipulating the left nostril, this flow of mental energies can be utilized effectively. Number 3, Pingala nadis. These chief types of nadis are located on the corresponding chain on the right side of the body. The Pingala nadis are the vital lines of force that produce a positive charge of energies flowing on the right side of the auric magnetic matrix of forces. The positive force of nadis represent the masculine force within the nadic system. The Pingala nadi is controlled by manipulating the right nostril through various pranayama techniques. Number 4, Huhu nadis. These major nadic subtle lines of force move from the genitals or the Svadhisthana chakra and anus area to the head region, where minor and major chakras manipulate the mind and vital energies for speech. This nadi is also called the new moon channel. The Kuhu nadi travels on the back left side of Sushumna spinal cord, extending from the genitals to the tongue. Gandhari nadi, number 5. These major nadis are located on the back of the left sympathetic chain and is supposed to stretch from below the left eye to the left leg. It moves consciousness and subtle energies from the brain region to the leg region, which helps to create a background matrix for mind and pranic forces. Hasti Jiva Nadi. Jihav. Hasti Jiva Nadi. Located on the front of the left sympathetic chain, stretching from below the left eye to the big toe of the left foot on the same supposition as before. Sarasvati Nadi. The meaning of Sarasvati is said to be she who flows. This nadi is located on the right side of Sushumna and stretches from the Muladhara chakra up to the tongue. It is said that the Sarasvati nadi must be activated before the Kundalini can begin to ascend along Sushumna, the central channel. Pusha nadi, nourishing current, located at the back of the right sympathetic chain, stretching from the corner of the right eye to the abdomen. Number 9, Payasvini nadi, watery current, located between the Pusa nadi and Sarasvati nadi and extends to the left ear. Sankhini nadi, number 10, located between the Gandhari and the Sarasvati auricular branch of the cervical plexus on the left. Yasasvini Nadi, number 11, located in the front of the right sympathetic chain stretching from the right thumb to the left leg. Number 12, Varuna Nadi, located at the nerves of the sacred plexus between Kuhu and Yasasvini, ramifying over the lower trunk and limbs. Visvodhara Nadi, located at the nerves of the lumbar plexus between Kuhu and Hastijiva, ramifying over the lower trunk and limbs. Number 14, Alambusa Nadi, located at the coxal nerves, proceeding from the sacred vertebrae to the urogenital organs. The human body is a complex vehicle that the soul has devised in order to work on a gross manifested state of consciousness. Behind this gross human body are tremendous subtle forces that create the opportunity to allow this gross manifestation to stay in existence. This can be called the chakra system of the human body. All right, so we'll stop here and pick up on consciousness. And after that, we should finish up with chapter 5. And then we'll go into a review of the first 5 chapters of the book. So do we have any final questions or comments or anything you'd like to add, Nehemiah, before we close out today's session?
No, I mean, not really. This is like 2 more pages, right?
For
It's
this chapter, let me see, for chapter 5, there are consciousness. There's quite a few more pages.
Quite a few more pages, okay.
Yeah. And then chapter 6. So
About 5 pages.
yeah, about 5, 6 pages. So we'll finish chapter 5 and start chapter 6 next time. Oh no, we'll finish chapter 5 and then do the review. Because chapter 6 goes into the power of invocation. Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I want to do the first 5 chapters and then review, because we'll go into the mystic prayer proper from 6 onwards.
Yeah, and with the there's a chapter in the Serpent Power book that goes into layer yoga, and I think the book, it's not much said about it, but it's a hard read too. Serpent Power by Arthur Avalon or John Woodward, right? That's his name.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Swami Sivananda, his book on Kundalini Yoga. Also, Swami Sivananda's students wrote a book. I think they wrote a book on mudra, which they went a little into it as well. So there's not much written on it, but those are like the top people that spoke about it or to it. Those adepts, and the reason why, because you can take a person all the way to the awakening of a Kundalini in teaching, but the experience have to take the rest of the way. But you don't want people trying to do exercises that send them crazy.
Okay, there's a question here. want to edit the video. Ta-da. The question reads, can you tell me about imagination and visualization? I read, but I couldn't understand it.
There's a lecture tape by Dr. George King on imagination. And imagination, your only creative faculty. Is that the name of it, right?
Yes. Yes, that is the name of it.
Yeah. So, and which sums up it pretty good, because imagination is our only creative faculty. When we imagine something, that thing is brought into being on the mental plane, and it plays out in our aura, and it's released from our chakras into, if the imagination is strong enough, into the atmosphere, and it helps creates the environment that dictates, that's karmically dictated for us. So imagination, when you control the imagination, you can begin to control the subtle energies within your aura, within your natis. Nati means a flow of energy. So you have a flow of energy that moves through your auric body, in and out of your chakras. Your chakras is your conscious base. Each chakra is a vortex center of consciousness. How you function, because your chakras is a part of your mental bodies and your auric body. But we only use maybe like 2% or 5% of our mental bodies. But through the power of imagination and visualization and concentration, contemplation, and eventually meditation, we can utilize a greater portion of our mental bodies and our brain, in other words, because the brain is part of the mental body too. So, but the brain is more of a receiving set. And chakras is actually your consciousness. Your mental body is actually your consciousness. So imagination is a tool that's used to control the flow of energy, all the energy that we just spoke about in that last chapter, the pranas, the mahabhutas, which is the etheric elements, the Tava rays, with the rays, the 360 rays that flow from the sun, which is a combination of energies pulled in from the galaxy and the universe through the sun, and in order to manifest the realms of existence here on Earth. And we receive those 360 rays through the chakras. And with our imaginations, which is a key component of our existence, we mold and shape our environment. And we do it in multiple ways. And we do it in a way that we don't even realize we're doing it. You know, every single thing that you touch, that you come into contact with, came through the imagination of some human being or some animal or some plant life. Because why? Mind molds energy into matter. So that happens on the emotional level, on the mental level, emotional level, and the physical level. You know, the microphone that I'm speaking through was made, it was first imagined in someone's mind. And then they found all the components to make it happen. The computer that you're using or the phone that you're using to listen to, same thing. It's a combination, it started from the imagination of someone. So when we control our imaginations, we can create and mold and manipulate all the subtle energies in our body, and eventually raise our consciousness by tapping into this energy, and eventually direct all this energy in order to wake up the power of Kundalini. And then once awakening the power of Kundalini, we move and activate all the chakras to its highest capacity. So that's what imagination is used for inside the mystic knowledge. Visualization is once you imagine something, then you sustain it with the visualization. And visualization is concentration, contemplation, and eventually meditation. I hope that brought you a great understanding of that.
And anatomy there, the lecture that Nehemiah just mentioned, imagination, your own creative faculty, your only creative faculty. You can get access to that lecture here. I'm sharing the screen on Theories Cloud. There are also a couple of lectures that Nehemiah has given on imagination, a couple of which I just found. These are from several years ago. This is in a series of Psychic Spiritual Development, Imagination, Man's Only Creative Faculty lecture. In this lecture, he goes into imagination as one of the keys to tapping into universal mind substance, which I just talked about. This is one lecture, and then there's another one called How to Purify and Read the Aura, Energizing Your Imagination and Visualization.
Also,
These lectures.
Also, when you're reading, if you're going to get the Dr. George King's lecture tapes, get Man's Mind, Concentration, Contemplation, Meditation, and what's another one that's good? How to Develop Clairvoyant Powers.
Yeah.
And magnetism.
Man's Mind. Yeah, Man's Mind. That's here too. And you have a. Oh, okay. This is for free. Yeah, I think this one's free. Maybe. Yeah.
And the key to that is concentration, contemplation as well. Is that there too?
Yeah, they should be here. Yeah, concentration, contemplation, meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a good one as well. I think you're saying how to develop your clairvoyant powers, one of them.
Yeah, how to develop your clairvoyant powers.
Yeah, that's here too. The psychic center significance and development. That's a good one too.
That's a good one as well. And psychic development.
And this one too. This one I really recommend too. Psychic developmental illness, because it's, if done improperly, it's a very thin line.
Yeah.
Improper psychic development can cause mental illness or unbalance. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here.
Sometimes he delivered this so in a simple way, a very clear and direct way. That shows that he has a master of these teachings. But some things go over people's head, but he covers it. He just mentioned it in a slight way because he know that he wasn't speaking to a highly educated group of people. Not until he get into the deeper stuff that the Western world is not aware of all the details. He make it so simple so you can understand it. But then if you go back and teach, you go back and study the teachings that he recommend, you can see the great complexity of it.
So those are some resources available to everyone. And I think, and many of the questions too, if you take a keyword from your question and search on our YouTube channel, you'll find a lecture or a talk that addresses some of the information. So, for example, your question on imagination, just type imagination as a keyword, and then those two lectures come out. And so there's a lot of resources available for everyone to use, and you'll be all too happy to make avail of them. All right, so are there any final questions or comments? Close out today's session with reciting the New Lord's Prayer. And I have not forgotten about the series I had paused on, which was going back and reviewing some of these older lectures. So anatomy, when you go back and review some of these older classes, this was many years ago. I had no idea what I was doing behind the camera, so we didn't have the audio equipment. We didn't have the good video equipment, so that the audio quality might not be very good. The video quality may be difficult for you to see what's written on the board. And so my plan is to go back over a lot of these old lectures, transcribe them, and do a review of them. And it's also to give opportunity for those who were not able to attend those lectures when they were given. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions on the material that was presented, 10, 13, so many odd years ago. So if you would like for me to cover a particular video, maybe you'd want, after watching those two lectures where imagination and visualization is presented, you have a list of questions, or you'd like for me to go over that video, send us an email, let me know, and I'll add that to the queue of videos I'm working on. And I plan to resume that series after we finish with this prayer book, or add that as a separate series as we and leave the Sunday sessions for the lectures. We'll see. Okay, great. All right, let's close out today's session reciting the New Lord's Prayer. The New Lord's Prayer. O divine and wondrous Spirit, O everlasting Lord of hosts, send forth now through me thy great and lasting power. Allow me, Almighty God, the lasting privilege of radiating to all the world thy great love, so that those who suffer may be given the power and energy to rise above their weaknesses. Almighty God, in great humility do I ask you to send forth your power, to give to me this great lasting privilege of being a channel, so that my suffering brothers may be helped and guided and healed and lifted into thy light, so that they who know not may look up, and in doing so receive their higher selves your divine counsel. Almighty God, this day have you granted me a divine privilege. I ask you now to give to me the strength, so that never again will I turn from my inner vision of you. Oh, great peace, great peace, great peace. In praise of your greatness, O God, doth my soul sing. Grant it energy to sing on forever and forever. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for your kind attendance and participation. Next session, we'll continue with chapter 5. We'll pick up on consciousness, finish up chapter 5, and then we will either move into a review. I don't want to drag out the review too much because I want to get through the book. So we'll finish the review, and depending on which time we have left, we may go into chapter 6. For those of you, again, who are requesting access to certain videos, you can email the request to us, mysticknowledge.org. No, Mystic Knowledge Center, all one word, @gmail.com. And please email from the email address account that you have tied to your YouTube account that you want access to the videos, as well as please send me a link to the video just in case I'm not able to locate it by just the title alone. There's several, for example, Tantra Class 6. There are actually several videos called Tantra Class 6. So just sending me Tantra Class 6 may not be and allow me to find the exact video you want access to. So if you can, send me the link to the video and I will grant you access to it if given permission by Nehemiah. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email us as well. And let us know if you find us answering the question in a subsequent class or if you want us to answer the question privately via email. Either is fine. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Stay on for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. You can shut it.
Mm.